Hey crafters, it's Leo with Dreaming Tree. Today we're embracing the season of gratitude with our Heartfelt Harvest card. With a rich, layered cornucopia and cozy autumn details, this card is a true celebration of Thanksgiving. And because we know the holidays can feel different when loved ones are far away, we've added heartfelt print then cut sentiments, perfect for letting someone special know they're in your thoughts, even from afar. Let's get started. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start off by gluing this green piece down onto the brown, and we just wanna make sure that we get that nice and centered so we have an even border all the way around. There's plenty of surface area here to apply your glue without having to worry about too many little details. But again, there are some little details that you definitely wanna hit. And let's just try to get this in place before our glue starts to set. Again, just get that nice and centered. Check your border. Make sure it's nice and level. That looks good. And press that down. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now again, because of all the little details here, I'm gonna grab a scrap piece of paper, put a nice thin amount of glue on it, and I can see here that I've got some areas that are slightly raised, and I'll just tuck that little strip underneath these little areas and press that down just to make sure it's not going anywhere. Like that. That is good, that is good. This part here obviously didn't get enough love, so we'll just press that down, and we can always go back and just kind of double check everything. I would just get a few of these little strips out, just have them ready for any potential cleanup that we may have to do. There we go. And I think that looks good. I've got an area here that's just not sitting flat for me. There we go. The air is starting to dry out a little bit, which can kind of affect how your glue functions, so to speak. So just give yourself plenty of time with this one. Got this little area here that needs a little extra love too. Just go thin on the glue when you're doing this. And just make sure you press and hold. There we go. Okay, so the next thing I want you to do is take your gold foil. I actually, kind of last minute, opted to go with a gold pearlescent. The foil that I had, I was not digging the texture on it, and I felt like just the overall hue of it didn't gel with the rest of the colors that we picked. And I don't know, maybe I'm kind of over the foil thing. I like this. This is nice. It's kind of got a pearlescent foil sort of appearance, which to me is perfect. So I'm just gonna go with that. Try to cover as much of this as you can. And this is gonna fit like a little puzzle in here. Should fit perfectly. I'm looking at the little leaves on the bottom. Now I'm looking at the cornucopia and then the lettering. And there we go. Make sure it fits in there nicely. It should. It'll kind of tell you how accurate your machine is, depending on how well that fits. Mine's pretty good. There we go. A little part there that just needs a little extra push. Okay, there we go. And next, I'm gonna put this layer on. Okay, and that's gonna go on top of the green, like so. Okay. So let's flip this around, and got a lot of surface area to cover here, and a lot of things to avoid. So what I'm gonna suggest you do is just focus on the major areas, and then we'll take, and if we need to paint any extra glue, we can. but I think that's plenty there. And just be careful not to blemish anything. And just line that up as accurately as you can. There we go. That looks nice. Give that a little nudge. Okay. I think we did a pretty good job there. Wonderful. Yeah, I don't think it gets any better than that. Now, while we're here, there are some little cutouts for a few little leaves. You can take and just put a few dots of glue on these orange leaves and just pop them right into these little puzzle places. Okay, it's pretty self-explanatory where they go, but you can see that we're already adding some beautiful color to this card. There's that. Boy, that orange really just makes a difference, doesn't it? All right, one more over here. Just need a few little dots of glue and just pop it right in. Beautiful. All right, let's check any little areas that maybe need a little extra love because they're not completely down, like this guy here needs a little touch. There we go. Okay, next we're going to put this little piece in place, and that's going to cover up most of that gold except for the caption. Okay, and that's really beautiful actually. So obviously applying glue to this cornucopia piece is going to be a breeze. As far as the letters go, a lot of little details there, and you also don't want to blemish your gold. So I would just tread lightly and go easy on the glue here. We can always just use our little painting technique, especially in these fine little areas there. We can clean that up with our scrap paper, which I highly recommend. And just focus on getting that cornucopia aligned first because that is completely covered. And then you can do the text. I just go easy on the glue, and that should fit in like a little puzzle as well. You can kind of feel it snapping into place. Okay, that looks good. You can see some areas that are slightly raised, and we'll fix that in a second. Perfect. That looks wonderful. Yeah, I kind of like this pearlescent better than the foil. Awesome. All right, so just look closely at any little area that maybe needs a little extra love. I'm going to start with this super thin strip of scrap because I've got this little area here that just did not take for me. Oh, that's kind of a big area, isn't it? It's okay. I sort of avoided that area anyway. And then just pop it into place. There we go. And this whole little section here needs a little extra love too. Yeah, you know, it's a little bit of work, but it sure is a lot easier than trying to take a floppy sentiment like grateful and try to place it accurately. And that's it. I mean, it's done. Beautiful. All right, cool. So next, what we're going to do is start building our cornucopia. It may seem like it's complicated, but it's not. So one little thing here, kind of major actually, that what ended up happening was when I was pulling stuff off of my mats, I inadvertently got rid of a couple key pieces. This one here, you can see this little pocket right here. That goes right in there. And then this little fella here is going to get glued right about here. to kind of fill in, create that negative space for the G. And see, that looks a lot better. So just make sure you don't forget those two little pieces there. All right, and we're gonna build this off of the card because I wanna foam square it to give this some added dimension. So here's the first piece we're gonna work with, and then here's the second piece. So we wanna go ahead and apply glue to this piece and ink wherever you can, if you want. It definitely makes it look nicer. Get some glue on these little ribs on the cornucopia. There we go. Okay, and I'm gonna look at the tail of it right now and just try to get that aligned nicely. And then the leaves on the bottom, and then our little pumpkin and our gourd, and then the rest of it should just fall into place. Give that a press. There's a little tiny bit of that brick color that still shows through at the bottom, and that's by design, totally normal. Okay, there we go. So we got that. And then next, we're gonna take this layer and take a look at where you actually need to place your glue here, because there's gonna be some areas that don't need it. Okay, so you can pretty much disregard this whole bottom section here, but everything else above these leaves and these berries, you do want to put glue on. Okay, you can see how that's going to work. So let's flip that around. Again, we're going to avoid the leaves and the berries at the bottom. We do need a little bit there. Put some on the pumpkin stem. I think we can go a little bit there. Definitely want some on these leaves here. Like that. Okay, that's good. And if you, best thing to probably look at is the stem from the gourd as far as your alignment goes. Just make sure that lines up first, and then check out the little leaves that have that gold or that orange background, and do your best to line that up. Press that down. I got a little extra glue there, that's okay. And if for some reason, like for me here, these little leaves didn't take, because I just hit them with a tiny bit of glue, get your scrap and just tuck it between those two layers, add a little extra glue to those, and then press them down like so. There we go. Okay, next is our brown layer. Okay, and that's going to go like this. And essentially what we're doing here is we're making it more dimensional, but also giving the little berries a stem. That's what this is all about. Okay, so you can actually put glue on this entire thing. If you happen to have an issue getting it on the leaves, you don't have to worry about that. We can always go back in and paint some glue on those. Not a big deal. So don't freak out. Okay, and just match everything up nicely. I'm looking at the leaves on the left-hand side right now. Then I'm looking at the pumpkin, just kind of scanning everything to make sure that it's all sitting in the right spot, especially by these little berries. We want that to line up nicely. There we go, press that down. And making things pop out and making them dimensional by simply layering things. Now, the little leaves there on that one side didn't quite take, which is okay, because I can just paint a little bit of glue right there. It looks like that bottom layer also needs a little love too. And just press that down. Okay. All right, next, we're going to find this layer. And this layer is going to go like this. There we go. You can see how that's panning out. Okay, so this whole thing is going to need glue. So we can go ahead and apply glue to everything. Try to get some glue out to the tips of those little leaves, especially that one that has that stem that's helping it kind of hold on to dear life. Okay. And I'm looking at the pumpkin's stem, then the squash's stem, then the leaves, Just making sure that they're centered on their little shadow elements nicely. There we go. Press that down. And the layering is starting to come to life. It's beautiful. All right, next, we're going to go with this brick color, okay, and that is going to add a couple more leaves for the bottom. This one's pretty easy. We don't need to put glue on those leaves. Those are going to be kind of dangling there, but get glue on everything else, like so. And let's line this up nicely. Just like that. Beautiful. It's going to get easier as you go up a level. Next, we're going to go with this green layer. And you do want to put glue on the leaves at the bottom here, as well as everything else, especially that little loose part of our gourd. Okay. And I'm looking at, again, this is going to be, look at the leaves at the bottom here and get those lined up flush, because this is going to kind of create little cutouts or insets on the pumpkin and the gourd. Perfect. And finally, this piece, you want to put glue on all of this, especially the leaves. Get the gourd, get the pumpkin, okay, and line that up nicely. Basically here at this point, we're just having the stems exposed on the two gourds while continuing to add dimension to the overall cornucopia. It's a fun little paper piecing project for the most part. Okay, cool. So that's that. And you can see where that's going to go. It's going to go just like this. Okay, so I'm going to glue this down flat. I want to line that up just like that. And then we have a couple more pumpkins that we're going to glue down. And you can actually just put glue on the brick color. You can leave the other leaves alone. You don't really need to put any glue on those. Okay, and let's get this in place. Try to match it up with the cutout, that brown. There we go. Beautiful. Nice and dimensional. Okay. Look at that. That looks great. And it looks kind of weird there because, well, we still have some more things to put together. All right, so with this final piece here, we're going to start with the orange color, and we're going to try to get some glue around these little ribs. There's a lot of little details here. Do your best to cover as much of that as you can, and if you feel that maybe you went a little crazy, just kind of dab it with your finger to thin out that glue so it doesn't end up on that beautiful brown that we're putting it on. Okay, and this is going to be flush with the perimeter of both pumpkins. And you can press that down. You know, sometimes when you press that down, if you do have a little glue that kind of leaked out, it'll pick it up. That looks great. And then for this one here, we have a different tone for the pumpkin on the left. So I'll just throw a little bit of glue on these little ribs just to make sure it all sticks nicely. You can thin that out a little bit as well. And pop that on this guy. Just match that up as accurately as you can. There we go. Press that down. And there's that. And then this is going to go right here, like so, to finish that off. And I am going to glue this down flat, just because I want these little brown leaves to sit nice and flush on its shadow layer below, just in case we don't want it to get snagged and ripped. Okay. So line that up. I'm looking at the leaves. I want to make sure that those are in fact nice and centered on those shadow layers. Pop that on there, press that in place. Give that a little nudge. There we go. Perfect. All right, so finally, on the card, again, we have this beautiful little insert. just gonna go right in here. It comes with a blank one in an SVG. If you're planning on using the print then cut, you don't need to cut both. You can, it'll kind of maybe balance out the weight of the card, which shouldn't really be a problem, but you know, if you want it to, it's gonna be kind of front heavy. If you want to balance out the weight, you can. Just get that nice and centered, press that down, and then all that's left is our coordinating envelope. There we go. Thanksgiving isn't the same without you at the table, but I'm so thankful for every memory we've made and all the ones still to come. And there it is. Beautiful. All right, let's take a look at our envelope. All right, so we're gonna build another set of pumpkins. We're gonna put this green layer behind the brown for our stem. So go ahead and apply glue to this entire brown layer and pop that into place, like so, just so the stems are sticking out. Then just like we did up front, let's apply some glue to the orange layer. Just go easy on the glue here around those little ribs. Okay. And again, the left one is going to have an additional color just to add some variation, make it a little more interesting. Press that down, get that glue off of there. And the last little bit, there are a series of little markers on the main flap that will kind of help you with the positioning of this. Just make sure you get it exactly where it needs to go. And there's that guy, looking good. Let's grab the envelope. You can see there's little cutouts for the stems, the tips of the stems. That's where that's gonna go. So you can apply glue to this whole thing. Get a little bit right at the tip of that stem. And like that. There we go. All right, and then we'll take these two flaps, bring them in. I typically, where did it go? That's fine. I was gonna use my little bone folder to kind of fold these flaps a little bit better, but it's fine. And then just push that down, applied glue from about here all the way down. And you can see how beautiful that looks, and the card fits perfectly. So that is gonna do it, y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. This content is available exclusively on Creative Fabrica, whether it be through their all access membership, or you do have the opportunity to purchase the files individually. So either way, I hope you guys join us over at Creative Fabrica. Hope you enjoyed this project, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again.